Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Jason from Channel Prep 3PL. This is the first video I've done in about 18 months, so it's been a very long time, but this is a very important video, and I do want to let you guys know that I did record some videos earlier today that are going to be published either at the beginning of next week or this weekend, so there's a lot more to come. But this video is time sensitive, so I just wanted to quickly go over this and talk about it. It's hitting all the mainstream news outlet headlines, and it's really going to be affecting everybody who's an Amazon FBA seller. So what we're going to be talking about today is the new 5% fuel and inflation surcharge that was just announced yesterday by Amazon. How is this going to affect you as an FBA seller? How is this going to affect your business moving forward? And how can you take actionable steps to adapt to these changes? So right away, I'm going to jump into my computer here and we're going to take a look at these headlines here. So it really grabs you. Amazon adds that 5% fuel and inflation surcharge to seller fees. We're seeing this on CNN, AP, all the major news outlets are talking about this because really Amazon hasn't introduced any type of fee like this in the past. Maybe they've disguised their own increased rates for shipping and all of the other process behind the scenes. They've probably disguised that in other rate charges in the past, but this one they're actually stating is directly caused by fuel and inflation, which obviously is going to be affecting anybody who's doing FBA. So if you go to your Amazon account and you go into your dashboard, you're probably going to see a notification like this, or you can just search within Seller Central. And you can see it's time-stamped April 13th, 2022. And again, this is specifically for FBA sellers. So if you're doing merchant fulfillment, you've got Seller Fulfilled Prime, you've earned that, you're not going to be affected by this. They're not going to hit you with an extra 5%. This is only for people doing FBA. But a lot of people are doing FBA. I think there's actually more FBA sellers than there are merchant fulfilled or solely merchant fulfilled sellers at the moment. So it is going to be affecting a lot of sellers. So let's just read this real quickly. Since the start of the pandemic, we have significantly invested in Amazon's store and fulfillment operations to better support you and our customers. We've nearly doubled fulfillment capacity, added over 750,000 full and part-time roles, and an average hourly rate went to 15 to 18%. So they start out, of course, like most corporations and their jargon, to obviously bolster themselves up and seem more favorable, and that's what they do. I've seen this many times, and after that, then they'll tell us exactly what's going on because it's a negative thing. So they have to, of course, put themselves in the light in a good way, shine themselves in a good way, and then they're going to tell us about the 5%. So like many, we have experienced significant cost increases, and we have absorbed them whenever possible to reduce the impact on our selling partners. When we did increase fees, we were focused on addressing permanent costs and ensuring that our fees were competitive with those charged by other service providers. And who are the other service providers? Probably eBay, Etsy, Shopify. I mean, really, Amazon doesn't have that much competition, let's be honest here. In 2022, we expect a return to normalcy as COVID-19 restrictions around the world ease, but fuel prices and inflation have presented further challenges. It's still unclear if these inflationary costs will go up or down, or for how long they will persist. Well, based on everything I know about economics, most of the time when inflation rises like it is right now at historical rates, it typically does not go back the other way. Yes, there is deflationary phases that happen in the economy, but generally the consumer gets used to paying a higher price. So if a pound of chicken breast is going for $2.99 now, and it was $1.99 a year ago, it's probably going to plateau, stay at that. It probably won't come down for that good. Rather than a permanent fee change, we will be employing a fuel and inflation surcharge for the first time, a mechanism broadly used across supply chain providers. Beginning April 28th, so we're at April 14th right now, it's right around the corner, we will implement a fuel and inflation surcharge of 5% on top of our current fulfillment by Amazon fee per unit rates. So whatever you're paying right now for your product, obviously there's a lot of different charges that people could be incurring if you're selling on FBA. It's based on the size, dimension of the product. You have long-term storage fees, what types of products are you selling, hazmat fees, etc. So whatever your fees basically are right now, just add on another 5%, and that's what it's going to be come April 28th. We know that changing fees affects your business. Our teams are working each and every day to ensure that FBA remains great value for the premium fulfillment and delivery service it provides. Since 2020, and inclusive of this charge, Amazon has increased fulfillment rates less than other carriers and continues to cost significantly less than alternatives. So really what they're trying to tell you is, yes, you're going to be paying 5% when April 28th, it's starting to implement at that point. So if you click this link, this is kind of a really helpful table and calculator for you to assess what you should be expecting coming April 28th, okay? Starting April 28th. Core FBA fulfillment fee changes excluding apparel. So if you're selling apparel, this is going to be excluding apparel. I think apparel is down here. So this is pretty much every other type of product. Size tier, Amazon, as we know, has multiple size tiers. We have small standard, and they have the shipping weight right here. Large standard, small oversized, medium oversized, large oversized, and special oversized. So since I have been selling on Amazon in 2016, they only had, I believe, 3 or 4 size tiers at that point. Now they have many more size tiers, and we can see exactly what size tier. And also, if you go into your reports, your FBA reports, you can download all of the past sales records for your store and see exactly what all of your items sold, what size tier they fall under, and how much you're paying per item, per unit for fulfillment costs. So 6 ounces or less, $2.92. Let's take out our calculator right now. So $2.92, and this is before April 28th, so that's right now. That's what you're going to be paying, $2.92 per unit fulfillment fee. Multiply that by 0.05. That's going to be the increase. It's a 15-cent increase. So if you add 15 cents or point, we're going to round up there, it's going to be $2.92 plus $2.92, and that'll bring you to $3.07. Round up, $3.07. So that's exactly what's going on here. They just took all of these numbers that you'd be expected to pay for small standard, tiered it all on the shipping weight, and then added another 5%. You go down the list, and that's exactly what they did here. So you can really easily reference this, and I suggest you to save this, bookmark this, print it out, and reference this, and take a look at what your best-selling items are. What are the items that you're doing really well with, and try to understand how this is going to affect your business moving forward and what that 5% is going to look like. Now, the good news here is that this is affecting everybody. It's not just certain sellers. It's not just international or domestic sellers. It's not just people selling in certain categories. This is going to apply across the board for FBA sellers. So your competition has to also pay an extra 5%. You're going to pay an extra 5%. So when I see headlines like this, obviously they're trying to get clicks, but I don't really feel as though this is that big of a deal, because what's going to happen, like any new fee that gets applied across the board, it's going to get pushed on to the end customer. So really, who's going to be fronting this extra cost? It's going to be the Amazon customer. It's going to be the people probably like you and me who are already buying on Amazon through Prime and getting those items shipped from FBA centers, and we're going to be paying that extra 5%. It's going to be reflected over time. That's my point. It's not going to happen overnight. These charges, these extra fees, usually take a little while to implement because some sellers might not know about it. Some sellers are going to try to hang on at a smaller profit margin and just let that fee eat into their bottom line. I wouldn't suggest doing that. I would suggest making your changes now. They kind of gave us a 2-week grace period, if you will, to go ahead and change your prices to reflect what that 5% extra fee is going to do to your bottom line, because all your competitors are going to do that too. Maybe in the short term, some people are going to get more sales because they haven't changed their prices to reflect the extra fees, but that's going to hurt them. It's not going to hurt you. You need to have your prices reflected based on what your overall fees are. So make sure you calculate all your fees, of course, but this is going to be a new fee that you need to calculate for. And again, I'm not trying to be cynical here, but I've seen this stuff happen in the past where when they implement new fees, it's kind of like taxes, they usually don't take them away. Once they introduce them, people accept them and it just becomes commonplace and part of the cost of doing business. So the further down we go here, you can see if you sell apparel, it also has it broken down here, and they even gave us product examples based on the dimensions. So if, let's say, for example, you have a small standard size tier product, 6 ounces or less, mobile device case, so it's probably a cell phone case, dimensions 13.8 by 9 by 0.7 inches, it's a pretty small product, and the unit weight is 2.88 ounces. You're gonna round up that shipping to 3 ounces. That's what Amazon does if you didn't know that already. Before April, that's now you'd be paying $2.92 per unit on that fulfillment fee. After that, it's gonna be $3.07. So if you're selling small items, this is definitely going to affect you because most small items are also items that have a low price point. The lower your price point, the more an increase like this is going to affect your bottom line. Obviously, it's based on a percentage basis, but the way in which this is going to affect you differs based on your product size, but also based on your price point and how much you actually will get in net profit. Because if you're selling higher products, higher price point products, your net profit is already high. Hopefully, that's the idea of selling higher products, higher price point products. So you can go down the list here and see small standard size, large standard size. Just, I would say, don't get too fussy about this. Look at what your best sellers are. Go across, download all the information about your best-selling units, compare it, look at what it's going to be, and make a decision. When are you going to implement this extra cost? You have to do it, or else your profit margins are going to slip. So I would say sooner the better. Again, everybody has to do this, and who's going to foot the bill? It's going to be the end customer. And that's really all there is to it. We have fulfillment fee changes for dangerous goods. That's hazmat. You can see what that is if you're selling any hazmat items. There's a lot of hazmat items out there. You have to obviously be accepted to sell hazmat items, but some of those hazmat items are usually less competition, and you can really dig deep in here looking at the size. But if you come down to the very, very bottom, you can see the frequently asked questions, and say when are we going to start doing this? April 28th. And also what's going to happen if I have products that are orders that are pending. And my understanding from reading this frequently asked questions is if you have some orders that are pending from, let's say, April 26th or the 27th, once they move over to unshipped, then Amazon's going to apply this extra 5% if it happens after April 28th. But any orders that come through, successful orders that come through before the 28th, will not be charged the 5%. Anything that comes after the 28th will be charged the extra 5%. So that's really all there is to it. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think people who are getting upset about this are kind of missing the larger picture here. There's certain things that as sellers you cannot control. We cannot control when Amazon's going to implement this. And frankly, they can't control what's happening to our economy on a macro level. And they have to push on some of these fees to their sellers in order to make sure that they're not losing money and they're fulfilling the best interest of their shareholders. And that's what a publicly traded company like Amazon always has to do. They have a fiduciary duty to do so. So as a result, we have to do that. And one more thing I want to talk about. This also opens the door up, okay, to doing more merchant fulfillment. Merchant fulfillment has kind of been forgotten about. Everybody wants to do FBA because, yes, you get the buy box more, you get more sales. It's just much more streamlined. They take care of customer service. They will delete a lot of reviews for you. There's many benefits to FBA, and I have no qualms about that. I completely agree, but it doesn't mean that you have to do FBA on every single product. Look at it on a per ASIN basis. Some items will allow you, based on the profit margin, to sell on FBA, and some won't because the profit margins are too slim. Or you can do certain things like use a prep center to take care of merchant fulfillment orders for you. And we do that a lot for a lot of our clients because they see the value in doing merchant fulfillment. So this really opens the door up for that, but also looking at other e-commerce marketplaces, multi-channel fulfillment, multi-channel e-commerce, Etsy, Shopify, eBay, Facebook Marketplace. There's so many options now as sellers. Amazon's not the only game in town. And if the products that you have that have been selling well in the past are too overly competitive on one marketplace, you can go and introduce them to another marketplace, or you can you can sell multiple units, multi-packs, bundles. You can do a lot of things in this day and age to differentiate yourself and add value. And one of them, in my opinion, to cut down on competition is looking at other marketplaces as well. Not saying Amazon is dead by any means. Obviously, this is something that we have to work with as sellers. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. Let me know down below what you think about the 5% fuel and inflation charge. Do you think it's fair? What do you really think overall is going to happen from this new fee in the next 12 months? How do you think this is going to play out? Do you think other marketplaces are going to follow suit? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll be happy to weigh in down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.